It must be 7 p.m. on Saturday, whatever the hell date it is in November. The Black Saturday after Black Friday. It's whatever.
In what world? In what world? Why did we end up right there? Why? Help me out.
Because this is the weekend when retailers go from being in the red for the year, being negative, into the positive, into the black for the year.
Okay.
That's why it's called Black Friday.
But Black Saturday?
Well,
isn't it Small Business Saturday?
That could be new.
How you doing, Pops?
Okay, yes, it's Small Business Saturday. I'm freezing my tuchus off. It's cold and windy at the seashore.
Well, we've got an hour-long event that'll hopefully warm you up. We've got quite a few folks in the chat here with us. We've got Send It saying, I like the info, but just hate the way they are with each other. Cringe. That's how I interact with my dad. Sorry you don't like it. Alex is here. Nice to have you. Jose's here. Herb's here. Herb or Herb? Herb?
Herb. Herbs are something else altogether.
Sandy, thanks for being here. Matthew, thanks for being here. Romex is in the chat. Mike's here. Jenny's here from Virginia. Appreciate you. I even got in on the chat before the show started. Pops. Wow. Mario Space is here. Jordan's here. Stiggs is here. Rico's here. Albert's here. John's here. Rosemary's here. My mouth's getting dry, Pops.
Yeah, well, hit that water you got.
I absolutely will. Yes. So, Dad, there's a couple things that we're going to touch on tonight, and then we're going to actually do something that we haven't done in a little while, which is we're actually going to do the call-in tonight. So get excited for that. We figured out how to do it remotely, so we'll put the phone number up in a little bit. Brian from Baltimore is in the house as well. Do we have any contacts with Toyota Canada? We do not. We do not.
Any contacts in Toronto? You and your sister spent a night there once when you left your passport in a plane.
I did. We did.
Yes.
We did. Okay, but here's the deal, Pops. We're getting. How should I phrase this? How's your sleep been recently?
How's my what?
How's your sleep been?
My sleep?
Yeah. How have you been sleeping?
Well, you know that I don't really turn my heater on, so I just have these little space heaters. It was a nice balmy 64 degrees in here when I woke up this morning.
So how are you sleeping? Is anything keeping you up at night? I guess is my real
question. Well, the one thing that keeps me up at night more than anything, other than is Santa going to be able to make it with all the supply chain issues, is the supply chain issues. That's the thing that if there's anything that prevents me from sleeping, it's my concern over the continuing supply chain issues and offloading of cargo ships off the coast of California.
So we've got two things that I think are making both of us nervous, thus the title for tonight's live stream. One is the global supply chain. That's been the story. It continues to be. We've got new news of a new strain of the coronavirus, which is very scary to say the least. And we saw on Friday airline stocks plummet with the new news of different travel restrictions and things like that. So global supply chain still keeping us up at night. The other thing keeping us up at night, I'm going to pull it up on my phone right here.
You mean the stock market dropping 900 and some points on Friday didn't keep you up last night?
No, I mean, I slept like a baby, but I think it's like a figure of speech. I've got some text messages here that kept me up over the past few nights. I can't disclose who this is from, but I'm going to read it out here. I just talked with one of my executive contacts at a small company named Ford, which actually they kind of are a small company compared to their peers at Rivian.
Well, their market capitalization is small compared to some other auto manufacturers.
This is what he said. This overpriced market we are seeing at dealerships, lots, and no loss in consumers for those cars with additional dealer markup sends manufacturers a clear picture that cars we are producing are, quote, extremely undervalued and can observe another significant MSRP adjustment from us as manufacturers, meaning the OEMs are seeing that they can hike up prices straight to the dealership and no one will complain. They are thinking it's a lost opportunity and the market is there without a loss in their consumer base, raising factory MSRP significantly to adjust the market and bring it up to date with what the market demand has been willing to pay. Direct quote, this is overdue is what he said.
Now, you know what is going to be most annoying with that? It's how the dealers are going to respond to that, because what everybody has found out is that they can ask more and get more for these new cars than just the manufacturer's suggested retail price. If, as Ford suggests, that they think it's it's due time to significantly increase the MSRPs on their vehicles, well, conversely, they're going to significantly increase the invoice costs of those vehicles to the dealers. Okay, so that those all those extra profits that the dealers have been able to make over the last 12 to 18 months will now just be going into the fat cat pockets of those who actually manufacture the cars. So Ford is looking at it saying, we can raise the cost to the dealers. We're going to make more money. The dealer's going to make less money, but the buying public's going to continue to buy it. So, as a Ford dealer, if I heard that from somebody at Ford, I don't know, I'd be a little pissed.
And we actually put an article back up on the YAA website. I'm going to pull it up right now so that everyone can look. The non-negotiable destination charge is increasing rapidly. This came out about 2 weeks ago. We took a look at all of the different manufacturers from 2017 to 2021, how they've increased their destination charges. Ford's has gone up about 30%. They're leading the pack. Porsche's has gone up 30% as well. It's very well understood in the industry that destination charges are just little profit centers for the OEMs. So not only
Yes.
are we seeing, there's this talk, okay, we don't have anything confirmed outside of, we've seen Tesla increase their prices 20 some odd percent across some of their makes and models. We've seen Toyota in the brand new 2022 and 2022 model years increasing prices significantly. There's this kind of conjecture from executives at Ford essentially saying, hey, consumers are willing to buy this stuff. We're now an electric car company like Tesla. Let's increase the price more often.
Well, and their dealer, Ford's dealer body, is a captive audience. They can't go somewhere else to buy their Fords for their customers. So if Ford is going to raise the invoice cost to the dealers and the manufacturer suggested retail price for the consumers, it's not like the Ford dealer can go, well, I'm going to go buy my cars at GM. They can't. So really, there's two parties that are going to take it in the shorts when it comes to this. One, the consumer, because the consumers have proven conclusively that they're willing to overspend. And so the manufacturers and the dealers realize it. And then the dealers are going to take it in the shorts because the manufacturer is going to take back that extra profit that the dealers have been able to make, and they're going to put it in their own pockets.
I agree with you partially. I also think that dealerships are going to be really creative in making sure that that's not just lost profit and that they're going to try and pass as much of that on to the consumer as possible as well. And this, my dear friend, my good father, could be where we get the quote unquote end of the dealership model. Because we talked about this last week, I think with Miss Kimberly Klein as well. We talked about the executives at GM and Ford. They're looking at the Tesla model, the Rivian model, the direct-to-consumer model, and they're seeing all this lost, quote-unquote, lifetime value that they could have with the customer. We talked about it with you, your old employer. You were a $250,000 customer to your
Yes.
old employer and lifetime value of cars you bought. And it would be even more, with your family and everything. And so as an OEM, there's now this new way to be positioned that says, okay, it used to be, let's rely on franchise dealerships as our, direct to consumer end of the funnel. Like, we don't want to deal with that stuff. And we could build a really big business. Toyota's a $200 billion company. Ford was a $100 billion company. Well, now there's a new model. You want to be a $1 trillion company? Well, you got to sell directly to consumer and you got to own the lifetime value. And I think that when Ford increases manufacturer suggested retail price, which they will, and they're probably going to do it with more frequency. And I'm not saying they're going to do it like Uber prices your ride to and fro, but it's going to get closer to that. It's going to become more dynamic pricing is my expectation. Dealerships are also going to try and tack on and add their dynamic pricing. They're going to add on their packages, and consumers are going to get upset, and that's always going to hold them back from being the $1 trillion company. You're pushing towards it.
Yeah, but the difference is
Ooh.
I was just going to say the difference is that the dealers, because there's been short supply, have been able to get the consumers to pay more than the MSRP for vehicles because of the short supply. So let's assume for a second that supplies somewhat normalize. Now, when I say somewhat normalize, I don't think they'll ever be what they were prior to the pandemic. You've heard me say it before. If a store was getting 1,000 cars a month prior to the pandemic from the manufacturer, they'll probably have to operate at somewhere between 60 and 70% of that. So they'll get 600 to 700 cars a month as opposed to 1,000. Well, if that's the case, I don't know that demand would be so great that with the higher MSRPs that the dealers would then be able to tack on additional dealer markup. Okay, because there won't be such a severe shortage of product as there is now. That I think when you say, well, the dealers will figure out how to make more, I don't think they'll be able to, because I think what Ford's going to look at, and they have these statistics because
Of
they
course.
they get the profit and loss statements from the financials from all their franchise dealers. They know what the average transaction price is for every vehicle, and they can make sure to make the MSRP that average transaction price. And that average transaction price today already includes additional dealer markup.
But Pops, why have the dealership? Like, I'm actually gonna and I know there's a lot of reasons. The service piece, we don't want to actually have our hands involved in that. Like, we enjoy the fact that the dealership owns that. But I'm gonna pull up two things. First is, whoops, here it is. Tesla's already increased their prices $10,000 this year. They don't need additional dealer markup. They're the ones selling it. Okay. So like that's the future.
They're the anomaly at the moment, though.
I know, but I'm saying that's the future. And part of the reason I say that's the future is everyone's moving towards EVs. We know that. Here's an article from back in April of this year. Why can't direct to consumer sales happen from Toyota, from Ford, et cetera? Because every single state, all 50 states have legislation that blocks that. What they all also have, or a lot of states are starting to have, is carve-out language that allows for this is Connecticut, for example, would allow a manufacturer to receive a dealer's license if it does not have a franchise agreement with a new car dealer in the state, if it only builds electric vehicles and only sells the vehicles it builds, and if it does not have a controlling ownership link to a manufacturer licensed as a dealer in the state. Georgia, removing language for the dealerships. Kansas, like there's all these states that for EVs. Give me one more second. We are this close. I'm telling you, we are this close to Ford Motor Corporation setting up Ford Dealership Corporation, which is a separate entity that doesn't have any, that just has electric vehicles that they produce. That's going to happen. You heard it here first. Like, that's going to happen because they're going to make more money that way. And you and I both know, doesn't matter how you feel politically, doesn't matter how you feel socially. The thing that drives this ship, it's capitalism. It's how much money you can make. And Ford is going to set up Ford direct to consumer. And it's going to happen. I think it's happening sooner than later.
Well, I maybe, I don't know. I'm 70, so I'm kind of set in my ways. All I know is what I've known for the last 43 years of my life in the car business. Do I see a time where there'll be drastic changes as to how vehicles are sold, and that it'll be more manufacturer to customer direct purchasing? Yeah, I think that's a possibility, a distinct possibility. But I don't think, with the amount of money that all of these publicly traded large automotive retailers are spending to acquire and consolidate more dealerships, that they would be spending this money if they only thought the model as we know it is just around for another 4 or 5 years. If you're group one, you don't spend $830 million or $870 million, whatever it was, to buy Prime Automotive Group if you think, well, the viability of this is 4 or 5 years. These are smarter people than you and me. Well, maybe they're not smarter, but I'll take that back. These are just people that have a lot more money than you and me that can. But I'm pretty sure before they invest 870 million to buy 30 dealerships, that they've done their due diligence and they have a pretty good idea as to the direction of the automobile industry and to how long it's going to take for the model as we know it to dramatically shift to the model as we'd like to see it, where it's more manufacturer to customer direct.
Well, while I don't disagree with you, I would say that you opened a Golf USA store and went bankrupt, and you never expected that to, be the outcome, right? Like people make
Well, I
decisions.
didn't. I didn't go into it going, God. I hope in 5 years I'm broke and I'm I don't have a penny. I don't have a pot to piss in. No, that wasn't the expectation when I opened the store. But then again, I didn't have a history. I didn't have um, a lot of supposed intelligent people helping me make the decision as to what to do. The people that helped me make the decision, well, were the people selling the franchises, and they looked
I
at my
know, I
bank account and they said, "He's got enough money. Let's take it." Okay, and that's different than Group One investing $870 million to buy 30 stores,
will
or
say,
who was it? AutoNation that bought Larry Miller. Is that who it was?
yeah, for
Um,
3.2 billion or something like that.
so nobody's making that type of investment, okay, if the model as we know it is only viable for another 4 or 5 years.
Let's
Do I think there'll be dramatic changes in the next decade? Yes. Do I think they'll be dramatic enough that they'll severely impact what these public dealer groups are doing? No, I don't. I expect them to be slightly ahead of the curve.
Hey, more power to you, Pops. More power to you.
Hey, I
All
could
right,
be
let me
wrong.
share my screen really quick because talking about investment leads me to this article. This came out just on Friday. Samsung plans a $17 billion. To talk about something that you're making a bet on is going to stick around. Chip plant in Taylor, Texas. A few very interesting things about this, Dad. This chip plant is
Yes.
actually being built directly next to the utility that runs all of the power for the state of Texas. So if you remember, earlier this year there were the really tragic power outages that crippled the state of Texas.
From the
This
cold wave. Yeah.
from the cold weather that had come through. This chip plant is literally being built directly next door to the headquarters for the utility that runs all of that. So if you think that they were strategic in where they built this, that goes without saying. They're making sure that this thing stays online every day of the week, any minute, because any moment when it's down, they're not making money. Again, capitalism.
And how long do they say it's going to take to actually build the facility before it's becomes, say, operational?
Yep, the facility will be operational in the second half of 2024, so it won't alleviate any of the current chip crisis that we're experiencing. And also, let's all be real, that's straight out of a press release. So if this thing's up and running anytime in 2025, that's probably a major
Well,
victory.
and truth of the matter is they're going to build the type of chips that aren't used in automobiles today anyway. Because if it's a $17 billion plant, they're going to have the latest and greatest and the highest profit margin chips that they can build. And the chips that most automobile manufacturers use are old architecture. They're older chips. The profit margin's very slim. And when those manufacturers got out of their contracts during the beginning of the pandemic, the chip manufacturers found others who were willing to take up the slack and were ordering, well, the more expensive chips that they can make more money on. So that's part of the issue. So the Samsung plant is great, and it's a great thing for the state of Texas, and it's a great thing for chips moving forward. It's just not the type of chips unless automobile manufacturers go to the newer, more expensive chips, newer technologies.
Like we're talking about the extra expensive Tostitos that kind of had like the lime seasoning on it.
Yes, yes, when it's nacho cheesier, it's more expensive than when it's just nacho.
Sandy Hicks with a great question. Are any manufacturers making their own chips, as I believe Hyundai is? Well, GM would like to make you think they are. So would Ford. They've got these deeply integrated new partnerships with different chip manufacturers. No one else is making their own semiconductors or integrated circuits that I'm aware of. Are you, Pops?
No, none that I'm aware. But Samsung's been in the chip business for a long time.
Oh, they're
It's
one of the
just
major players. Yeah,
yeah,
TSMC,
and
Samsung.
they've been in it. It wasn't necessarily for the automobile end of things, but for all the other consumer electronics that they manufacture chips for, because those chips are a higher profit margin chip. And so what Samsung's doing now is they're going to take some of that capacity and put it towards the chips that are needed for their automobiles and SUVs.
It is interesting, though, to see it made. The plant is going to be in Taylor, Texas, especially with the upcoming 2022 EV tax credits. That at present, the way that it passed the House is, hey, the vehicle needs to be, the battery at least, needs to be manufactured in the United States and by unionized labor for you to get $4,500 in tax credits. It makes me wonder if we're going to see future things that are the chips need to be manufactured in the United States to get access to certain, discounts, rebates, credits, things like that as well.
That could be. You never know.
Jolly Ripper here. ST Micro produces chips for car manufacturers. I've tried so hard to get so many people from different manufacturers on the show. Haven't had any luck yet. I'll reach out to someone at ST Micro. If anyone knows anyone at ST Micro, please let me know. Also, Jay here in the chat. Tesla has been delivering vehicles without USB and wireless chargers due to the chip shortages. Let's actually take a moment here and turn over and look at that data. Pops, go ahead.
May I say one thing about Tesla?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're aware of it, but because of the potential changes in EV tax credits and
Yes.
tax refunds, a lot of people who have ordered Teslas have been postponing taking delivery, and Tesla has been sending out emails to these customers letting them know that they have to either poop or get off the pot. Okay, they either have to take delivery of the vehicle, or if they don't take delivery by a certain date, then Tesla's just going to refund the money and sell the vehicle to somebody else, because everybody's hedging their bets. And if somebody's vehicle was built 60 days ago, and allegedly part of the agreement when you order it is you're supposed to take delivery within 30 days of it becoming available. But they've been nice enough to let you postpone that and postpone it. Well, I guess they're losing. We're not that nice anymore, because it's costing us money just to have these damn things sit around waiting for our customers who love us to finally part with their money and actually take delivery of the vehicle so we can get it off of our books and into theirs.
Yeah. Like eventually you actually got to get the cash in your hands. Yeah.
It would be nice.
All right. So let me pull this up just to catch everyone up to speed with like the impacts of the supply chain issues that we've faced. New car features you won't get because of the chip shortage. This is that video that we had done about heated seats. So I'm going to scroll to the bottom really quick just so we can take a peek at, Tesla. So they removed USB ports. Whoa. Sounds like a phone call.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Well, give it a second, Pops. Hey, you're on with YAA. What's your name? Where are you from? What can we do to help?
Hey, Zach, how you doing? This is Dr. Tim. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Can you speak up, Tim? Can you hear that, Pops?
He said his name was Ken?
Ken or Tim?
This is Dr. Tim.
Dr.
Yeah.
Tim.
Oh, Dr. Tim. Okay.
Or you can call me Hey Boy. I'll answer either one.
Speak up for us, Dr. Tim. We're all ears.
Hey, I have a question, and then I have a suggestion. So the question is, I was blessed enough during the pandemic to buy a extra car, and I don't really need it, but what I want to do is to go ahead and sell my other car, which is a 2006 Lexus RX 400h hybrid.
Okay.
So I'm looking for a suggestion as to best way to go ahead and sell that vehicle. It's a great car. It does nothing but run. I've never had a lick of problem with it. It's a gets very good gas mileage for being a reasonably good sized vehicle. But I'm looking for a suggestion for what would be the best way to go ahead and sell that.
Well, what we have a couple of suggestions for you.
Okay.
You can go online and you can get an instant quote for a value what these people would pay for your vehicle. Go to CarMax. You can plug in the information and they'll give you what they figure they would pay for it. Go to Vroom, see what they'll pay for it. Go to Carvana, see what they'll pay for it. Now, if it's a nice, clean car, I would try personally selling it myself.
Uh-huh.
Maybe off of Facebook Marketplace or something like that. Craigslist. Just there, we have a whole guide on how to sell your car.
Okay.
Just be careful if you do sell it privately as to where you complete the transaction. But I don't think you'll have any difficulty in getting way too much money for your vehicle if it's in nice condition and relatively low miles.
Well, that sounds good because that's exactly what I was hoping to get. I wasn't going to list it like that, but yeah, I get your point. It's a good market for used vehicles right now.
It's an incredible market.
Yeah. So my next point was a suggestion, and I know you guys are relatively local. I'm local here also. I'm in EHT, and then we have a family home at Ocean City.
Okay.
And what I was going to suggest is, if at any time you guys are going to do a mobile sort of event, one of the things that I like to do, just as an aside, is, believe it or not, I make homemade pizza. And when I say homemade pizza, I mean everything from scratch. I've been to Italy and I've tasted some of their great pizza places over there and learned a few of the recipes. And I'll tell you what, it's just a fantabulous time because I've got my own pizza oven and the whole geschmear. So
Well,
you guys are going to be, I think you're in, is it Ventnor or Lake City?
I'm in Ventnor and Zach's in Washington.
Okay. Are you, does he come down here to the shore at
Dr. Tim, if there's pizza involved, I'll be.
Can I let me explain one thing, Dr. Tim? This is really this is the essence of my being. This is what I used to share with all my salespeople. The way to my heart is through my stomach. Okay, so you, my friend, are talking my language. Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Okay, well, fantastic. Let's not tell you what. The one thing I found about pizza is you can almost find something to satisfy just about everybody. There's some kind of pizza you can make that'll satisfy everybody. So I'm down for that.
Well,
Okay.
Dr. Tim, let us know how it goes selling the old Lexus. You're going to get a ton of money in this current market. It's definitely a seller's
And how
market.
do we get in touch with you so we can set all this up?
Well, you have my number, right? So y'all can text me here, and we'll figure something out. I've got my oven is actually portable, so I can bring the oven to a given location.
Well, you know what else is portable? Me. I'm portable, buddy.
Well, that's great. Like I said, I'm right here in EHT, so you guys can do an event right here in EHT, and I'll supply all the pizza, and
that's going to get tonight's first of many.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, Dr. Tim, let us know how it goes. I'll reach out to you after the show.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Tim. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Your show.
Thanks so much. That was fun.
Yeah.
We'll be able to take calls. Yeah, phone lines are open, 855-587-2886. We'll leave them open all night while we're on. Let me just turn the volume back down so the ringer doesn't take off someone's ear. Cars and pizza, two of my favorite things. Welcome to the show, Dave. Welcome to the channel.
Yes.
Yo.
Yeah.
Okay, there was something else I was going to tell you though about the chips. Sorry, we
Well,
got
forget the chip. It's the whole thing right now is CPB: cars, pizza, and beer. Okay, it's pretty
There
simple.
was-
CPB.
There was this article that came out from this company, Checkpoint. They
Okay.
discovered vulnerabilities in the semiconductors in the chips in 37% of smartphones around the world. This was fantastic research that they've done. I'll link to it in the description. But essentially, Dad, Taiwan's MediaTek has been the global smartphone chip leader since 2020, and 37% of their chips have issues, or 7% of phones out there that have their chips have issues. Makes you wonder.
What
As
kind of
we're
issues?
They can be hacked. Makes you wonder that as we're moving into this world where essentially cars are just computers on wheels, we're going to hear more stories like that. We had the Tesla app go down, which didn't allow you to be able to drive your Tesla. Wasn't that like last week, 2 weeks ago now?
Yes.
More and more things like this are going to happen. We're going to move away from like extended warranties on lubricated parts in your car to, insurance products so that when your car gets hacked, you could get a new one. I mean, it's crazy the direction that we're going.
You're going to need chip insurance, buddy.
You're going to need chip insurance.
Yeah.
Gil C in the chat here. Gil, thanks for being here. Just took delivery of my Tesla Model 3 long range. Just got an offer for $10,000.
And did you take it?
No wonder Gil's donating $5.
Yeah.
He's got
Jeez.
10,000 on the. That's incredible.
Yeah. Go buy take the 10,000, go buy another, make another 10,000.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Freaking crazy 6932. Ordered a Subaru Crosstrek in August. Still haven't taken delivery. This market is ridiculous. Picked up a 2021 Toyota TRD Pro 4Runner.
I lost you there, Zach. You're frozen in time, buddy.
Oh, sorry. I got frozen there, Pops. I was saying Toyota is on pace to have the most productive December in their company's history.
And Subaru is on track to have their second year in a row of sales fall year over year, which is the first time that's happened since the mid-90s.
Yep. Frost is saying you're going to get antivirus and you're going to need a virtual private network for your car, which is crazy to think.
Yes, it is. My God. This is an insane world in which we live. I'm going back to my Model T.
So, Pops, let's pull it up on the screen. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the used car market. And also, while Dr. Tim called in about selling his car, we're going to take a phone call.
Okay. I can't even hear it ring.
I know, because I turn the volume down for when it rings, and then I turn it back up for when it doesn't ring. What's your name? Where are you from? You're on with YAA.
Hi, my name's Dennis, and I'm from Washington State.
How you doing,
and,
Dennis?
One thing I was wondering is, with all the markups that dealers are asking now, could it be ever that buyers could someday buy directly from the manufacturer?
Well, my son thinks that day's coming sooner than I do. My guess is that eventually, that'll probably happen as we have more and more electric vehicle manufacturers coming online, and they're following Tesla's footprint of selling direct to consumers. So I think you'll see more and more of that.
That's what I thought. I mean, if Tesla can do it, I was just wondering, why can't other manufacturers do it?
State laws. State laws regarding franchises and how they have to be treated and things of that nature. But ultimately, as most things in life do, things change, and so we'll see changes. But I think those changes are further off in the future than Zach does. And one of us will be right and one of us will be wrong, and the future will let us know who was and who wasn't.
Yeah, and Dennis, just to give you some context here, we had
I'm
pulled up.
67, and Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, Dennis, just to give you some context here, we had pulled up earlier in the show. There's, I think, 13 different states that currently have carve-out laws that it has language kind of along the lines of this. So this is Massachusetts, for example, allows auto manufacturer to own or operate a dealership if it previously had no franchise agreement with the dealer in the state with no requirement that the dealers sell only electric vehicles. So that's an example of carve-out language in the state of Massachusetts. Every state has language that prohibits that from actually happening. And then this carve out language comes in that says, if you meet certain requirements, then you can sell direct to consumer.
Oh, I see. Yeah. And people that work in the on the assembly lines and so on, I know they can get cut rates and things when they buy a vehicle, but can they ever buy directly from, the manufacturer?
Not that I'm aware of. No, the manufacturers
Oh.
direct them to their franchise dealers and reimburse the dealers for
Okay.
having sold the car at a below invoice price for those people.
Okay. Okay. Well, thanks. That kind of answers my question then.
Glad
All
we
right,
could
good.
help, Dennis. Thanks for calling in.
Okay. Bye.
Have a good night.
Yeah, I'm actually going to read out another one here, Pops. Let me just turn down the volume in case someone calls in. I don't want to take off anyone's ear again. All right. So here's another one from this article from Auto News. The law in Nebraska would allow manufacturers to own or operate dealerships if they do not or have not had any franchises representing such manufacturer's line make of motor vehicles and only sell the line make of motor vehicles that it builds, aka so long as you haven't been building cars for the past 100 years, Ford, you can start up a car company and you can sell in our state.
There you have it.
That's how it's going to be. And actually, Pops, you and I know this very well. You've set up businesses before. I've set up businesses before. All it takes is filing some paperwork with the state. You've set up a new entity. So there are ways to work around these laws, especially as they're being written. You don't have to be that savvy to do it. And again, would not be surprised if you see a GM direct-to-consumer company gets stood up like that. To me, is right around the corner. And heck, I'd even be interested. Patents are publicly accessible the way that they're documented. I wouldn't even be surprised if you start to dig into the patents that Ford and GM and others and Toyota are filing. I bet you find some that talk about and kind of are precursors and foreshadowed towards their direct-to-consumer efforts. Like I bet you can find stuff like that if you dug deep enough right now.
Perhaps. I'll let you do the digging, buddy.
Core guy in the chat. Hope you both had an amazing Thanksgiving. Thank you. Back at you. Any thoughts on prominent car YouTubers and owners selling off their cars? Bubble bursting soon? Question mark.
Oh, saved by the ring. But we will answer Core Guy's question after the phone call.
If you don't mind muting us in the background, you're actually on with YAA. What's your name? Where are you from? What can we do?
But we will answer Core Guy's question.
Hello.
Hey there. Can you mute us in the background?
You're actually on YAA. What's your name?
Yes.
What can we do? But we will answer Core Guy's question. Hello. Hey there. Can you mute us in the background?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you 3 times.
All right, anyway, here's my question. My lease is going to be due in 3 Hello?
Yeah, you have to mute us in the background.
I hung up. I couldn't. I'm sorry. If you call in, you got to mute the show in the background. Sorry, sir. Feel free to call back in. Something about your niece. We would love to help.
Yes. If your lease is up in 3 months, you're probably going to end up wanting to buy it rather than
No, I
turn
think
it
he
in.
said his niece.
Oh, his niece? I thought he was talking about his lease.
His lease or his niece?
Well, maybe his niece is up in 3 months. I don't know. Or maybe he's going to Nice. Have you ever been to Nice? I have.
I've never been to Nice. Tell me about Nice.
Oh, Nice was beautiful. It really was on the French Riviera. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
What about Core Guy's question? Bubble bursting?
Soon? No, I don't think so. From everybody I've talked to, no. Wholesale prices of used cars just keep going up. I don't see it bursting soon.
Yeah.
How about you?
I agree with you. And also, I saw someone ask us about used car prices and kind of how that's looking right about now. And we actually updated this, if I'm not mistaken, with some of the Cox Automotive data as well. Like there was a super slight increase of inventory, but everything's still just going up and to the right. So no, the bubble continues to build. And quite
Yes.
frankly, so long as money is easily accessible to companies like Carvana, Vroom, those that are making the really big offers, CarMax, there's no reason for prices to come back down. And then, you know, it's going to also add pressure onto used car prices. The fact that we anticipate new car MSRPs to go higher and higher as well, it's just going to drive even more demand for quote unquote cheaper used cars.
Yes. Yes. So those things will all collaborate to see to it that prices never go down.
Honestly, yeah, like that's kind of the scary thing here. Jake the
Yes.
Snake wants to know how much is a fair deal for a 2013 Tacoma pre-runner TRD Sport with 102,000 miles, four-door pops. What steps would you go through? Because you don't know the answer to that off the top of your head. What
Not
steps
off
would
the
you
top
go
of my head. You know, I'm good, but I'm not that good. But the first thing I would do is I would go to joinyaa.com and then go to Black Book and plug in the information and get some Black Book information as to what they suggest the values could be. Then I would also go to CarMax, Carvana, and Vroom, all of them online, plug in the information about your vehicle and see what type of offers they spit back at you for what they'll pay for the car for that TRD, and that way you have a pretty good baseline as to what its value is.
You're on with YAA. What's your name? Where are you from? What can we do to help?
Al from New Jersey.
Hey, Al, how are you?
Good. I got a question. My lease is due in 3 months. Is it worthwhile to extend it for a few more months or buy it out?
Well, it depends what you want to do. But truth be told, if your lease is up in 3 months, 3 months from now, the market value of that vehicle is probably still going to be 20 to 35%, 25 to 35% above what you can buy it for. So you know everything there is to know about that vehicle. You know how you've maintained it. You know how it's been driven. If you've taken good care of the car, you have the opportunity to buy something at 25 to 35% below market value. If you don't want to keep that car, but you want to wait to see if the market does normalize to a certain degree and prices come back down a little bit, then my suggestion would be to extend the lease on a month-to-month basis, or extend it for 6 months and see what the market might be 6 months from now, or 6 months from that point in time. But more than likely, if it were me, I would buy the vehicle outright and just keep it, because I'm buying it for well below market value.
All right, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you, Al. Thanks for calling back.
So you were right. It was his lease.
Yeah, it wasn't his niece. His niece was fine.
His niece was probably doing okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's pull it back up on the screen here, because you just said 20 to 25% below
I
what
thought I
it's
said
worth.
25 to 35%.
Oh, you did say 25 to 35%. We've seen wholesale prices up. This is last week's data from Black Book. We'll update this on Tuesday of this coming week. Up 48%, retail prices up 33%, showing no signs of slowing down. And again, we started off tonight with the two things that we're nervous about. Those two things being global supply chain issues. There's a new variant of the coronavirus, which is very scary. We're already seeing some of the impacts of that on some particular industries like travel and airfare, which is what we saw at the beginning of this pandemic a very long time ago now. So that's one major concern that we have. The other being the increase in manufacturers' suggested retail prices. More and more manufacturers are signaling that they're just going to continue to raise their prices because they can.
Unfortunately.
Frost with the question, any news on monthly payments for extended warranties? We offer that now. So if you want interest-free monthly payments on your extended warranty, we offer that.
Wow. Interest-free?
Interest-free. Also, just got back in touch on Wednesday, right before the holiday. we're working on a tech and safety systems coverage as well. It was fascinating, Dad. So our rep at AUL, he was pitching it to me. He's like, yeah, we created this product so that when someone tries to sell the $29.95 extended warranty on the car, they have something that they can drop down to that's $9.95 that covers like tech and safety. And it's like a middle ground when you can't sell the $3,000 extended warranty, even though it costs like $600 to buy it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what's the cost on the tech and safety systems product? And he's like, well, it's rated. So rated means it's different for every vehicle, every VIN, but it's like a couple $100. And he's like, so how much do you think you guys are going to mark it up? And I'm like, probably a couple $100. We're not going to mark it up $700. Anyway, it's just fascinating. The deeper I've gotten into this space, the way these products are designed, it's crazy. Yeah. And Frost, for you, just go to the website, joinyaa.com. And yeah, we quote everything in monthlies now. Phone call.
I hear a phone.
You're on with YAA. What's your name? Where are you from? What can we do to help?
Name is Chris from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
And good. How are you? And thank you for taking my call. I really love your channel. I've enjoyed watching it, and it's very helpful. I've referred you guys to a number of my family and friends also.
Thank you. We really appreciate that, Chris.
Yeah. So here's my statement more than anything. As I watch this as a man who's raised 3 children, I've been telling my kids to keep and appreciate the car that they have and to service it and to not allow themselves to fall into the trap, high percentage financing, and to spend money on things they cannot afford. And as I watch your channel, and you alluded to this a little bit ago, basically, if you're in a position where you can't afford these cars and you can't afford to buy them, and you really shouldn't be going out and committing to that type of financial obligation. I understand the spirit of your channel. It help people buy cars, but I think in society right now, people really need to think about what they should be spending their money on. And if you have a good car, that's maybe not the best looking car, but if it's reliable, you should keep it and appreciate what you have.
Well, I can't say that I disagree with that sentiment at all. I don't. It's and God bless you if you can convince your children that that's the way to live their lives moving forward. But I can assure you that every industry out there is spending billions upon billions of dollars a year in advertising and marketing to make you want things more than you need things. And psychologically speaking, those companies are probably winning the battle. And as parents, it's very hard for us to convince ourselves and our children that you don't necessarily need that brand new iPhone, because the iPhone that you have now that's only a year old or 2 years old, I don't know, you can still get calls on it. It still does everything it did before, but we have become, because of the billions of dollars that are spent, we have become a society of wanters and not needers.
I completely agree. And once again, for those who can afford it, do whatever you want with your money. But I'm just calling to say that as I watch this and really think your advice is awesome. And to your point, when you register the domain, don't buy a car or whatever it was.
Stopbuyingcars.com.
Stopbuyingcars.com. Yeah.
I think that's very appropriate advice for a lot of people in our country who just need to stop falling for the advertising that you alluded to, right? That, basically we can't continue to just keep swallowing this and getting ourselves in the type of debt. I'm sorry to preach, but I figured I'd call and at least make the comment.
Hey, well, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, we really do. And trust me, I agree with your sentiment 100%. I really, really do. It would be great if we all just figured out how to live with the things that we could actually afford, as opposed to the things that we think we can afford.
I agree. Thank you for taking my call.
Our pleasure. Yeah. Have a great holiday season.
Pops, we've got a question here from Rohit. Let me pull this up. Hey guys, try out Costco Auto Program. They have some pre-negotiated deals for certain cars. I was able to buy $1,500 less than MSRP. But this is not the same for all cars, so I guess not a question, but a comment. So yeah, if you can get an affinity program in this market and the dealer actually honors the price, and the price is the price, that sounds like a heck of a deal right now.
Yes, it does. But we've also heard from people that have tried to utilize the Costco program, and the prices are not the prices when they finally go in to get the car, where the dealers have added additional product.
We've had people who work at, Ford manufacturing plants, and they can't even get, factory pricing, that the employee pricing at dealerships.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, so we've been doing this. We've been sharing some updates, lots of progress on the new YAA website. This will be coming out, I'll say, beginning of next year, but I think it's actually just a couple weeks away. I was working on this all day, Pops. We've got now on the homepage, you're going to be able to find and search for vehicles or get your extended warranty quotes from us. Pops, name a car.
Let's go with a Chevy Camaro.
Chevrolet should load. There we go. Camaro. There we go. Okay, so the way that our listings, our car search is going to work, and again, it's not ready yet. You can't access this, but it's soon. It's really getting close. The way that this works is it's going to find all of the different Chevy Camaros that are for sale within a 500-mile radius of you. We also are actually going to, once this is live, we're also going to have a nationwide search that you can do. So I have my zip code in here. So right now there's 4,741 Chevy Camaros for sale. Default stat to oldest to newest. So this is fascinating. You're going to see some like pretty crazy stuff when you look at it like this. But help me out here, Pops. Give me a price range and give me a year range that you're interested in.
How about a 2018?
2018.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
and no more than $35,000.
No more than $35,000. Okay.
Yeah, because look, there's one for 70-something thousand.
So I'm going to use our total price filter because
Yeah.
the total price is the actual price with taxes and all the fees. So you said 35,000?
Yeah.
God, I don't know if there's going to be any. Yeah, there aren't any. Oh, there's 159. There you go.
Yeah, come on. There's plenty.
And now, if you wanted to look for certified pre-owned, there's 17 certified pre-owned. We also have, I don't know if I showed this to you, single owner. So let's see if there are any single owner ones. There you go. So there are 8 single owner certified pre-owned under $35,000 2018 Chevy Camaros on the market right now. One that's been sitting on a dealer's lot for 91 days. Let me click on it. This part's a little slow, so we're working on it. Bear with me.
No, there it is.
So we've got all the photos, all the normal stuff. Now, here's what I'm really proud of, Dad, and you played a huge role in this. There is not a single lead generation form on this page. The call to action is our 4-step buying guide, which honestly is like Deal School 2.0, which is, if you're not familiar, join YAA/Deal School. Just go to joinyaa.com/Deal School. This is 100% free, literally no strings attached. Here's Deal School right here. That's essentially what it links you off to. And now, Dad, you can see what your sales tax is going to be. So in this case, the vehicle is for sale in the state of North Carolina. So my zip code reflects that. But anyway, once it's live, it'll actually be right. You'll put in your zip code. Here's what the title fee is in North Carolina. Here's what the registration fee is. Here's what the average doc fee is. Here's what your total price will actually be. Not to mention, if you wanted to get that extended warranty, here's what that quote is as well. No strings attached, no BS. And you can see all the price history and all the supply information down here as well. Getting really close, Dad. It's getting really close.
And it's got some tips and tricks and stuff like that, some insights. And
yeah, so like, for example, if I pull up this one, let's see here. We can actually see you're over here on the right telling us what fees to watch out for, which is really, really awesome. And then down below, we talk about, all the things with the extended warranty, why understanding the price history matters, why different supply components, like how many vehicles are available, what the day supply is, why all that matters as well.
Very cool. And once again, that's free.
That everything we just shared there, 100% free. So right now we charge for the market price reports and everything. Like, no, that's going to be free. So like, we're doing our best. We're absolutely doing our best to help.
Well, just between you and me, sounds like if it's free, That would make a great stocking stuffer this Christmas.
hopefully we get it out as soon as possible. Space in the chat saying a lot of dealers are not honoring the Costco Infinity price right now. Yep,
Yep.
we're definitely hearing a lot of that. Klaatu wants to know, we'll be able to print that sheet 100%. You'll be able to print the page. It's really cool. I was playing around with it earlier. Like, all right, I'll share my screen again just to kind of show you this, Pops, because it's not 100% ready, but it's like getting pretty close to being functional at this point. So if I actually remove everything,
Yeah.
this will now actually just run. Here's how many cars are for sale within a 500-mile radius of me right now that have a $35,000 price point. So actually, this is showing. Let me clear all my filters. So there's nearly 1 million cars for sale within a 500-mile radius of me right now.
Oh my God.
We could do
That's new and
nearest-
used.
That's new and used. Yep. But if we wanted to look at just like new, 321,000 new vehicles for sale right now within a 500-mile radius of me. And it's pretty cool. You can actually I bet you someone ends up doing like statistical analysis off of our data set, because there's 55,000 new that are under $33,000. It's pretty fun, honestly. Like I'm impressed with how the team built this.
From just being a vision in somebody's mind's eye to now being an actual working tool, and really perfecting it. It's quite remarkable how far it's come.
Yeah, and you saw this the other day when it was like very, very, very buggy. So it's definitely coming along, which we're really excited about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, see, it updates to show you what the sales tax is going to be in your state. It's pretty cool. It's pretty good.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud
Thank
of
you,
the
Pops.
team. Yeah.
J Love wants to know, when should it possibly go live? We're saying beginning of next year. I think we're 2 weeks away. But we're saying next year. Next year.
Yeah, we're saying January of next year because we're going to underpromise and overdeliver. Okay.
Tom wants to know, is that a better version of TrueCar? I'd say so, in the sense that there's, again, no lead gen form.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to get information from TrueCar, you got to give them all your information so they can sell it to dealers.
Yeah, exactly. So again, there's no lead gen form. The call to action for us is the 4-step buying guide, which is all the stuff we talk about in all our videos, but just like way more organized. You get the email templates as well, all that stuff right there.
Yeah, it's not, if you get the information from us, it's not going to generate phone calls to you from anybody. Okay, because we don't want to know what your phone number is. We don't want to sell your information to anybody. We're not remotely interested in doing that. Now, could we? Yeah. But we can if we don't ask for it.
100%, 100%. And this also ties into, so like, all right, this is becoming just like show and tell, but I think it's really important that everyone understands how close we are to really having a comprehensive solution here. So within these listings, it'll like link you to the community, and then on the community, yeah, like this poor person, Valerie, is asking about state taxes, and in the future, it'll just be right there for her. But we have dealership reviews. And then on dealership reviews, we actually have the sortable spreadsheet that Justice had put together. Thank you, Justice. So then you can actually like come in here and see if there's a review for that Genesis dealership that you were thinking of working with, Genesis of Newcastle, for example. You can copy that dealership. You can come back here. You can search on the community. And now you can see what the review was of Genesis of Newcastle. There you go. There were no add-ons. Like, how powerful is that? So you'll start your search here. You'll search for a Genesis. I'm having fun at this point, Pops.
Well, I'm so glad.
Oh, actually, I can use the top bar up here. I didn't even realize that. I'm looking for a GV70 or G70. Like, it's pretty slick, man. It's pretty slick.
I saw a guy yesterday at CVS.
Yeah.
He was in one of those giant ass G90s. Damn, that's a big car.
Bigger than my old S90?
Yeah. It's like it looked to me equivalent in size to like an S-Class Mercedes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Still, we will have new cars, used cars, and certified pre-owned.
Yeah, it's going to be cool when it's done.
The AG says, I just enter fake info into TrueCar, which, Pops, you used to hate getting TrueCar leads. Is this why?
It's one of the reasons. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're trying to not, just make that it's a bad system. Let's like not just perpetuate it.
Yeah. We're trying to create a system where you don't have to provide us with information.
Well, Pops, we've got Sandy Hicks signing off and saying have a great rest of your weekend to everyone. We also had earlier in the chat, Craig asked a quick question, Pops.
Yeah, buddy.
Let me know next time, and I'll like
step away from the car. Step away from your headphones. Yeah, buddy. I guess if ever there was a case where we should sign off, that's it.
I love you, Pops. Thanks so much for doing this on a Saturday night. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us. Join YAA.com. We'll be back again Monday on the Ray and Zach channel. Daily news you can use at 12 p.m. Eastern. Pops, enjoy a restful Sunday. See everyone on Monday.
Yeah. Have a great rest of your weekend, handsome. And I love you too. I'll see you Monday.
All right. Good night, Pops.
Good night.